There is always enough. When I first heard that statement, I didn't know what to think of it. One of my new favorite words from this year is woo-woo. A little crazy or out there. That was from Susan. I thought that this statement was a little woo-woo. I mean, we had one roll of toilet paper left for all 8 of us for a night, or we only brought enough food to feed 8 people, but we're supposed to feed 12 to 15. However, it defines my year pretty well. There was and is always enough food and money and time and love if we trusted in one another and were open to the spirit of collaboration. When we began the process of interviewing and deciding our work placements for the year, I had on my A game. I was dressed to impress, I had my portfolio, and I was in it to win. I believed in competition and that I had to prove my worth. As we've continued throughout this year, I've seen more and more what can be accomplished through a spirit of equality and working together. All 8 of us talk to each other about our work sites, giving advice, words of encouragement, and sometimes helping each other out. For instance, Holly helped Jim give a poetry writing workshop at the Seymour Center. We all helped at a build day for Habitat for Humanity. It was no longer about whose work site was best, but rather how we could each help one another make their placement as good as possible. At my placement, the Women's Center, I also felt the need at first to prove myself. I spent a lot of time being the first point of contact for clients, either on the phone or in person. I always felt like I needed to have all of the right answers for clients. And when I didn't, I felt useless. Through servant leadership and the process of noticing, I realized I've always associated being right or perfect with success. One day I was talking to one of the volunteers, Dolores, who calls herself my chocolate mama. She said, "Baby, sometimes all you can do is listen." Over time, I learned that forming relationships and being authentic is actually most important. Many of our clients have been turned away from several agencies before talking to us. And it brings me joy when I can provide these clients with services or information that they were previously unable to find. However, sometimes my presence and willingness to listen is better than my ability to solve all of their problems. Another part of my job was working with a program called Teens Climb High. I never thought I'd be asked a question such as, "Can sperm crawl?" But as it turns out, I ended up teaching sexual education to 7th graders. Through this program, I was able to create relationships with a fantastic group of 7th graders, empowering them to make positive, healthy decisions in relationships. I would not give anything to be in their shoes, but I do feel privileged that they allowed me to come into their world and shared a part of me with themselves. Before coming to this program, as many others have said, I was most anxious about living with 7 other strangers. How was I ever going to get any alone time? As it turns out, it was not easy. But I also had a lot of assumptions about who I could and could not be as part of this program, and assumptions about the other people that would be in the program. But guess what? Pretty much all of those assumptions were wrong. As it turns out, all I needed to be was exactly who I was created to be. I didn't have to try to be better, to succeed more, or to put on a show. I could be open and honest and true to my spirit. It took me a long time to trust in the abundance and no strings attached love that was provided by my fellow housemates. But now, these 7 people are my family. My sisters, brothers, mothers, and fathers. CMAS makes me laugh when I don't want to. Daniel always imparts his knowledge, mostly from the ever-reliable Wikipedia. And bakes muffins and breads on the weekend, and well, all the time, actually. Ho-Ho encourages me to be myself and never shies away from being herself, even with her Jonas Brothers posters and Taylor Swift obsession. Jimbo kills bugs and fixes anything that goes wrong in the house, or at least attempts to. Kels tries to snuggle with me and is probably going to make me a hippie next year when we live together. Willow observes quietly and then imparts her wisdom upon all of us. Each one of them has given me the space and time to figure out who I am and has accepted that person unconditionally. As this year is coming to a close, I'm still learning to just be rather than trying to always do. I'm still learning to work with others rather than to try to be better. And as I continue to notice these things and to allow myself to be who I am, rather than who I think I should be, I will remember that there is always enough.